Yay!
Hello. Welcome everyone for our Peek into Pink live we're missing one, but that's okay. We've got two of our three Pink Cadillac sales directors.
Yes.
I'm going to wait for some of you guys to jump on before we get started. But we're super excited you guys are here, and then we'll go ahead and get things going. So we just want you to first let us know who invited you. So if you're on right now, if you're watching the replay, let us know who invited you because they're going to get credit for that. So we want to make sure they get enrolled and they get credit for that. Okay, yay, yay, yay. Look, we've got some fun people here. Hello.
Hello.
Yay, we've got comments already. Oh, hold on. Prudence, Heather, Latifa, Michelle. Okay, yay.
Wow.
I know. All right. Well, you guys are jumping on.
Yeah,
I'm going to start with, am I background noise on something? Let's see. Oh, okay. I think it's good. I am going to start by introducing
Okay.
Carmen, say that again.
I was going to say we should probably say where Tracey is.
Oh, yes. Go ahead. You can tell us all.
Okay. Well, she unexpectedly, her and Sarah, her daughter, have been waiting to fly out to New York to get Sarah's to move her back here. And they got a flight on Monday, and they're still flying today. Not that they've been flying for 3 days or anything, but they did get her their things, and now they're flying back. So she unexpectedly got stuck, but they're on their way.
Safe and sound, though, right?
Just wanted to share. Yes, safe and sound.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So yes, that's why we are missing the T. So it's T and T. Carmen always says she's the and, Tracey and Tammy. So we got the T and.
I'm right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, and the sweet part in the middle of the cookie. Okay.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is introducing Carmen, and Carmen has a little bit of a delay, so I can't. I'm more working. Every time I do this,
that's typical. I'm always delayed.
So we want to know. And what we want you guys to do is comment for giveaways. So if you guys have questions or comments, go ahead and comment because we're going to do some giveaways. And I want to first start by introducing my senior sales director, my Mary Kay mentor, the amazing, and I love this, executive senior sales director, Carmen Felix, very official, whoop, whoop, also a national sales director. Yay, yay, yay.
Yes.
And so I'm going to share a little bit.
Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So I'm going to share a little bit about both of them and just tidbit. And then we're going to get into the good stuff. Here's the thing, you guys. I got the mic and there is no prepped questions. I think they might be a little bit afraid of that, but it's okay because they trust me that I'm going to do a good job. Tammy's like, bring it on. And then we have the one, the only, our national sales director, Tammy Vavala. And yay, we want to give it up for Tammy. Well, if you guys don't understand this title, or if you have never been a part of Mary Kay, there's all these different titles, and you might be like, what does that even mean? So this is my best impression of how to give a real life situation to what a national sales director is. So to me, a national sales director is like Beyonce. Like when you see Beyonce, when you hear her, everyone they're like, oh my gosh, it's Beyonce. Like the most famous person in the building and probably has worked the hardest to get to where they are. So Tammy Vavala is that, and she's actually the only English-speaking national sales director in Arizona, which is amazing. So she really supports the whole state of Arizona, and we're so proud. I mean, I like to say I live right down the mountain from her, so I'm very proud of that, to live right next to her. And so one of the things I will tell you from my perspective, watching both of them as they mentor me, is some of the most genuine and also hardest working women I've ever met. They put their faith and their family as a priority, but their third priority is their work. It's not their 33rd. They work with joy, with abundance, and I think that is what the real true leadership is. And I'm so glad that I get to follow that and see that example. So I just wanted to publicly thank you both for being that kind of example.
And Robin, we think the same about you, girlfriend.
Thanks.
I mean, you've been doing
Absolutely.
this every Wednesday, and oh my gosh, it has made a huge difference on how these come across. So you are gifted and talented, and we are blessed.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to just get started by, I'm going to tell you a couple fun facts. Does that go with you guys? Fun facts? I always like to know fun facts. So first of all, how many years they've been in Mary Kay. So Tammy was like, ish, right? Tammy knows everything ish. So it's all good. And Carmen knows like exactly to the T how many more months till the next one. So I love their differences. So Carmen has been in Mary Kay for how many years, Carmen?
33.
33.
33 years.
And Tam, how many years for you?
24.
24 years. That's crazy. That's amazing. The longevity that you guys both bring blows my mind. Okay. And how many free cars? Carmen, you go first.
Didn't you write it down when I told you?
I'll say it. I'll say
it. Okay. I think the one that we're in qualifications for is number 18.
And out of 18, this will be her 15th pink Cadillac.
This will be the one we're in qualification for, 15 pink Cadillac.
That's insane.
I know.
And Tammy is also crazy for her cars. So 12-ish cars, right, Tammy?
11 or 12-ish, yep.
11, 12-ish, which means there's 10 or 11 Cadillacs in there.
Yep.
Somewhere around there. When you start earning,
after you get like 3 or 4, like, why do you count?
Yeah, they keep coming. And so you guys know the way the car program goes. They don't just have collections of cars in their parking lot. They get a new car every 2 years. So that's how they went from earning some cars that were not pink Cadillacs. Like, for example, the director car that I'm in is an Equinox. Soon to be a Cadillac. Very soon to be a Cadillac. But we're grateful for free cars, right? That's awesome. So the other thing that I think is super impressive, and this is not always the same for all companies, but with Mary Kay, we really are set apart in how we make our income. And but having this car program, Carmen calculated that this is 30 years for free cars for Carmen. Okay. So if she were to take the cash option, which is an option, if you don't want a free car, you can take cash. She calculated that would be over $324,000 in cash that she has received in free cars.
For 30 years. 30 years of driving just the pink Cadillac. Just the pink Cadillac. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So if we took the cash option.
Yeah.
And it doesn't include the insurance, the title, the tag, nothing. That's just if you took the cash option.
Absolutely.
It's choices, but I've always taken the pink Cadillac.
I mean, yeah. So for me too, I would do the same thing. I'm like, but I love to see that number. And both of them have both earned over $2 million in their Mary Kay careers. Wow. Can you guys see how, like, did you know I had the big drugs on? I wasn't know I had the big when I told you I'm bringing the best of the best to you. Right? I'm seeing wows. I'm seeing whoa. This is awesome. Okay. So now that we kind of got into the fun facts, I'm going to start. Carmen, I'm going to start with you. I have a fun question.
Okay, let me ask my husband. Hold on one second. Honey, I'm on live. If you could. He's in the kitchen. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Okay. All right. It's all good. It's live. It's real. It's raw.
Welcome to real life working from home.
I love it.
Yes.
Okay. So ask me again. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
No, you're fine. So what I wanted to know is you guys have all this success, which is really great for us to see, right? But sometimes I think people forget that you did start where everyone else started. And people don't really realize that. I think maybe in their head, they're like, well, it was easier for them, or they didn't have to do all this stuff. So maybe share with me, where did Mary Kay find you right in the beginning? Like, if you were here watching this video, but there wasn't video then, I know. But where would Mary Kay have found you learning about it? What would that have looked like? So Carmen, let's start with you.
Well, 33 years ago, I was a single mom with my 2 boys. I had a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I was at that time the city manager's administrative assistant. I lived in Sierra Vista, had no family at all. My closest relative lived in the Bay Area in California, and I was desperately praying for something that I could do to be home with my boys because we had no family. I did have a best friend, Kelly Will, who would help me when she could. She had 2 little boys as well, but honestly, it was me. And I was invited to a Mary Kay party, and I didn't want to go. I'm a tomboy, or was a tomboy. I just was not into much makeup or hair. But I went to that party because I'm loyal. And Kelly, my best friend, was the hostess. And I went because actually she said, I've done so much for you. The least you could do is show up at parties. I'm like, fine. I went. I didn't want to be there, but you know what? God met me there. He answered my prayer because the seed was planted for this amazing company. And I was like, oh my word. And a couple days later, I held my own party, and my recruiter is Mary Durr, soon to be national sales director in this few months. And she told me about the opportunity. And even though I was reluctant and I was scared to death, I figured if I don't try, I'll never know. And I'm so glad I did, because Tammy wouldn't be here, Tracey wouldn't be here. And so I'm so thankful, because it really has changed lives.
So Carmen, you wouldn't say you were like the most polished, put together person in the whole world like you are now?
Oh yeah, I am the most polished person you've ever seen in your life, right? No, I definitely was not polished. And my friends and family were like, you're doing what? They were shocked. They couldn't believe it. You go from 1 minute of not wearing anything except maybe mascara and ivory soap and, alcohol for toner to, hey, I'm a beauty expert. Want to buy from me? That type of thing. So no, it was definitely a dramatic before and after.
I love that.
And
I love
for sure
that you show what a learned skill it was, that it wasn't something you naturally were good at. You didn't know a lot about skincare and makeup, and you weren't automatically a beauty expert. You learned the skill, and it's something everyone can learn. So thanks for sharing that. That's super helpful.
Well, I have to share with you, Mary asked me, because I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff. And she said, are you teachable and trainable? And I'm like, I am the city manager's administrative assistant, that type of thing. I was a little cocky, but yes, I'm teachable and trainable. And I was, obviously, because I learned.
Well, and I think when I hear teachable and trainable, I think
I'm still learning.
That's what I think, is that you were willing to go outside of out of your comfort zone because you had a bigger purpose than yourself, right? So I think that's super huge.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Tammy, same question. Where in the world did Mary Kay find you? Like, where was Tammy in this season?
This is like fun. This is like, where was Waldo?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
So, oh my goodness. Well, first of all, my life was great. I had a lot of awesome things happening. I was living in Colorado at the time, married with a 3-year-old beautiful daughter. And in regards to like when you look from the outside in, it looked fabulous. We had a great home that we had just built in Colorado on a mountaintop. And had what you would look from the outside, but not realizing from the inside, there was a lot of things I was not happy with. We were living in a place that I did not want to be in. It's Colorado. It was cold. I'm from Arizona and I like it hot. And it was not hot there. When it snowed on the 4th of July, I told my husband, you better get me out of here. No, thank you. And so I was on vacation. Which is so weird. I had come home to Tucson, Arizona to see my mom and dad. I came by myself because his job was very demanding. And so we never took vacations together. And so I came home and I called a couple of my good girlfriends that I had still in Tucson, one of those being Tracey Chavez. And I said, I'm in town, let's get together. And she goes, no, I can't do this day. No, I can't do that day. I can't do that day. And I'm like, what are you doing? She said, if you want to see me, you have to come to my Mary Kay meeting. I'm like, you're what? Last time we talked, I thought you were a nurse. And she's, no, I'm doing Mary Kay now. So I'm like, I'm not going to no Mary Kay meeting. I'm like, I have no idea what just happened to you, but I am not going to go do that. But then she said, well, I'll buy you dinner. And those of you that know me is I will do most anything for food. And so I went, okay, cool, I'm in. So Mary Kay found me too in a place of, I know it's hard to believe, but I'm actually a complete introvert. And so going someplace, not knowing people is something that I did not do and still choose not to do. That is still something that's hard for me. However, Mary Kay will help you bloom and blossom and grow you. And so it has been a personal growth experience for me. But I went to that meeting with closed mind. I went to a meeting thinking I'm going to put my dues in. I went like, how long is this thing? When are we checking out of here? And let's go eat dinner.
When do I get my exactly?
Just let's get this over with. It's kind of like eat your vegetables and then let's go have some fun. Now I do remember where I sat. We went into a meeting and Carmen was actually training at that time. And Tracey happened to be, and she is a fun, outgoing, bubbly personality, loves attention, loves to be the center of attention. And so she was in a position of prestige in Mary Kay, which was a red jacket and a leadership position. And so she went to sit to her spot and left me, an introvert, in the back of the room in a chair with nobody that I knew. And so I strategically put myself by a wall because that's one less person to talk to. I do not remember anything at that meeting about what they talked about in training. And that's because I was busy counting ceiling tiles. And what happens is if you need this coping mechanism, it's a good coping mechanism if you're a little anxious, is you look up and you count and it looks like you're paying attention when you're looking up and I'm counting things. But in the midst of all that came a feeling. Mm-hmm. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what you just felt, but you go someplace and it feels like that's where you belong. So we left that meeting, we went to dinner and it was Tracey and Carmen, another director. And Carmen, being wise and groomed in Mary Kay, a leader in Mary Kay, knew to never prejudge. She knew never to assume. She's unassuming. She knows that everybody can make their own decisions. And she said, Tammy, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to do Mary Kay? And I said, yes. Now, at this point, Tracey said, absolutely not. And I know that sounds really crazy, but it was because she was protecting me. Who in your life right now do you have that if you think you told them that you started a Mary Kay business might go, you did what? And think you fell off a cliff and bumped your head? Well, that's what some people might think. And so it's because we don't know or we're afraid of something that we don't know. And she did not know how it would affect my life. She knew that I was an introvert. She knew that we've grown up since we were 9 years old. She knew that I did not make friends easy. I did not talk to strangers. When my mom said, don't talk to strangers, I took that literal. I never talked to anybody. And so in her mind, she's like, you will never, this is a people business. This is a serving business. This is where you love on people. And Tammy, this is not what you normally do. Not that I'm not loving, but I'm not a person that would go out of my way to make friends. And so in her mind, she was like, this is not going to work for you in a loving, sisterly kind of protective mode. You got that? That's what that was. A loving, sisterly mode. Now, Carmen, being wise, said, Tracey, that is not how we encourage people. I think a kick under the table maybe also was planted at that point. But she reminded her that that's not how we edify. That's not how we build people up. That's not how we make rosebuds into blossoming roses. We encourage them. And so a lesson learned was right away to encourage people, even if you're not sure for yourself, that you encourage people. And that's one of the greatest gifts that I have from you, Carmen Felix. So I thank you so much. And so I started my business, and just out of fear, out of doubt, out of not knowing, but I did it anyway. I did it anyway because you just absolutely never know.
Well, thank you, Tammy, for sharing that. I think that's super, super awesome how you shared that. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, when you started, were you working full-time or no?
Good. Yes, I was. Sorry about
Okay.
that. No, minor detail. I was working full-time as a master's level social worker, and I loved it. This is crazy to kind of think about. It's so funny because when I look back, I'm like, you know what? I did do things out of my comfort zone. And I was actually working for the sheriff's department. I was a victim services coordinator, and I would go on crime scenes and work with victims. Crazy, because I cannot even watch that stuff on TV. But when you're in it, you just do it. And there's something that, maybe God is so good, because when he allows you to go in it, we can figure it out. And so even though it didn't seem like I could do Mary Kay from the outside, or wasn't my personality, when you get in it, you can do it. You can figure it out, because we're amazing women. And so I was working full time, had a little one, and my husband traveled 5 to 6 days a week. And we were in Colorado in snow, just painting that really pretty picture with nobody around, didn't know anybody, but I was a hard worker and I had a good work ethic. And so, but I was working full time and continue working full time in my business for a year or two.
I love that, because I think sometimes people think I hear this all the time, oh, you have to quit what you're doing now to go do Mary Kay full time, or you have to go. And I was like, actually, I like to blow that myth. That's a myth buster. Most of us start this career with a full-time job, and we continue to have a full-time job until something changes, or until we really decide that we want a leadership position. I know for Carmen, it was a little bit different. Carmen actually did decide that she was going to make a change pretty quickly. And I really believe that was because if you are a mom, I feel like if you know what it's like, you would do anything for your children. And Mary Kay gave her that opportunity to do something. So I think it is good to know that sometimes people do something way out of their comfort zone, and sometimes we just take a small step. And so I love that you guys shared your differences in that. So the next question I have for you guys is a little unorthodox, but really something probably not been asked very often. What is the thing that you least expected that has come out of your Mary Kay business? Like nothing that, we know that we make income, can earn cars, and there's trips around the world, you can earn diamonds. But maybe what's the thing that you're like, I never expected this to come out of my little Mary Kay starter kit? Carmen, do you want to start, or did I throw you off too much?
No, that's fine. I could do it. Well, there's so many things. I certainly didn't expect the friends, the relationships. I mean, I can't even, it blows my mind. The quality, the women, I get emotional thinking about it, but it's unbelievable, the relationships. But honestly, I didn't go to college. I went to 1 year of secretarial school, and I never in a million years ever thought I would make a 6-figure income. That wasn't even in my radar. I mean, when I started Mary Kay and paid whatever it was on $90 for the starter kit, I just wanted to make $600 to $1,000 a month. I mean, I knew that I could earn a car. I mean, I knew that there was a car program, but guys, I never would have thought I would have earned 18 cars, and the last almost 15 had been pink Cadillacs and 6-figure income and stay-at-home mom. It's beyond anything I could have comprehended. It definitely was a God. It is a God thing. And I'm just so grateful that I never quit when there were times I felt like it. I just consistently persisted.
I love that.
So.
Consistent persistence. That I think that explains you in a nutshell. Consistent, persistent. Like that is so true, Carmen. And I think what you said too about like knowing that it's not always easy. There are times where people don't love their full-time jobs. Sometimes people don't want to have their kids with them today. Like, we have those moments, but we keep doing what we have to do to make it happen. So thank you for sharing that, Carmen. And Tammy, same thing for you. What is something that you didn't expect?
Well, it's cool they kind of said, go beyond the income. And so one thing that I did not expect is the choices that obviously comes from the income, but a choice that I would have never, ever thought would happen is my husband becoming a stay-at-home dad and homeschooling. And so the reason I say that is because, yes, he could have, maybe if the income would allow him to choose a different career, do something which was what I expected. What he did was with traveling. He was actually a chief operating officer and ran an entire company. And so my intention was to have an income that allowed him to change careers.
Right.
Would I've ever assumed that my husband, a leader of a company, would quit working and find pleasure and joy and find a new him by staying home and then taking on homeschooling? And for those of you that are homeschooling, I have no idea how you do it. It is like the hardest thing and beyond amazing. And then if I can go one step deeper,
absolutely.
I did not know that because of him coming home and homeschooling and taking on the patience that requires, the self-control that requires, and going from a leadership position where you manage people, and now you come to a humbling servant position where you still teach, but it's completely different, to then allowing us to buy a restaurant to lead people that needed a level of patience and love that is not typical in the workforce for them to thrive, was because of the preparation ground that he had to be a stay-at-home dad, to then flourish in the restaurant business again, but in a whole different way, and leading in a whole different way because of how he was able to lead our son in homeschooling. It's hard to describe.
Gives me chills, I'll tell you that. It makes me emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to run this thing, so I don't want to get too emotional. But for those of you that don't know, if you're local to Tucson, I just want to have this moment to share this, that we are all in a little bit of uncertain times, but things are opening back up, and the restaurant that Tammy and Fran own is called The Hungry Fox. So please go support them, because I want you to know something. I remember when they talked, when I heard the news before it was out, that Tammy and Fran had bought this restaurant. And I think I was driving with Tammy to Phoenix for something. I got to sit in her Escalade, and I can't remember why. And she said, this for me is always something I've dreamed about, giving the homeless and these, they're not all homeless, but these people that are less fortunate, to teach them how to fish and not just give them the fish, to teach them how to have a job. And like Fran, what she's talking about, having the patience to train and teach these people to make an income for themselves, for their families. So not just her Mary Kay career has allowed her to help women have a career and women to find themselves, but this restaurant and her husband has been able to lead other people. Tammy, to watch you guys serve our community on such a big level is such a blessing. So thank you. And everyone, go get some cinnamon rolls. They're the best. I'm just saying. My dad was like, Robin, go get me a Hungry Fox cinnamon roll. I'm like, okay, Dad, tomorrow I'm on it. So you will see me there. Just a little. But I, like you said, just really, you guys have heard the saying, beyond my wildest dreams?
Yeah.
Clearly, beyond their wildest dreams. They didn't even dream that big.
No.
And I just think that's a bit amazing. So, oh gosh, I do have chills. So, okay. So this is a little bit of a vulnerable question. So I just want to tell you that ahead of time. So the thing I think that sometimes happens when you create success in any industry is people put you on a pedestal. They think, oh my gosh, Carmen's this. She's so, I know for me, having to lead people after Carmen just led them. I'm like, oh gosh, okay, you guys, I'm not Carmen. I'm not this organized. I'm not this. I'm not that. You know, and Tammy, just having the presence that you do and the way you love and serve others. So what is something that you think people would be surprised to know about you that you still struggle with or you still have while becoming successful? Like, is there something that maybe people assume you're one way, but really you actually still struggle? Because do you guys agree with me that some people just think, oh, once you've got to the top and you're in a pink Cadillac, you don't struggle anymore. Or once you're a national sales director, it's all good for you. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. So Carmen, do you want to start with that or you want Tammy to?
No, I can.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, I'm fine. She's surprised because I usually don't go off the cuff. Well, yes, I could, obviously, but for me, the hardest, first of all, I don't like to travel, and I've been to seminar every year for 32 years. I've never missed, and I've never, in my heart of hearts, wanted to go. And I'm not saying that because I want to see the people, but what I didn't want to do is travel and go, and I don't sleep well, and so it's hard, it's exhausting, but I'm loyal and I'm obedient, and so I go. But it is hard for me. It is not easy for me at all. This virtual thing is not easy for me either, and you know that more than anyone, Robin. The other thing too is I really am an introvert. Now, one thing, and I feel so bad because of this whole COVID thing. I mean, who would have ever saw this coming? But honestly, I love being at home. I love my husband's home. I love that. This is me. I mean, I thrive when I'm at home. So you don't have to go out and do a million appointments. You can work from home. And even as a new consultant, that's what I did. 90% of all my appointments were in my home. So
that's pretty
I
powerful.
don't know if that answers the question.
Thank you for sharing that, Carmen, because I do think maybe, you know, some people are the opposite. They want to travel. They want to go different places. And for you, I know this about you, that you love your home. Your home is where your heart is. And you guys, she's traveled across all of Arizona to help support her future national area, all the way to Florida, to Maryland. And so she does push herself out of her comfort zone today. That's not just Carmen years ago. Carmen today does things that don't always make her comfortable, but because she knows that she's obedient to what God has called her to, she does the things that she knows, and she's serving others. And that's what this business is all about, is serving others. So Carmen, from my heart to yours and all of your offspring and your future offspring, we are grateful that you step out of your comfort zone for us, because you have changed a lot of our lives. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And what? Little Miss Tammy Sita has the same issues as I do with traveling, right, Tammy?
Yep. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
So it's great. I mean, I think what I love is it's a love-hate relationship. Like, we don't like getting out of our comfort zone and going and doing those things, but then when we have and just going, okay, we did it, and the growth from it. But I think people would be surprised that it never necessarily gets easy. Okay. So the things that are hard for us continue to be hard for us, but we do it anyways. You do it anyways. And then one of the things that has happened to me that I recognize is starting new things. And I think that's really across the board for most people. Starting anything new can be hard. Now, some people can transfer into it a little bit easier, a little more spontaneous personality. I'm a consistent person like Carmen too. We're kind of like the steady Eddie little turtles, and we just kind of keep on keeping on. So when there's a transition that has to be made, like this, for example, it was a slow go for me. Did I know I needed to transition and pivot? Absolutely. Did I pivot as fast as the others? No, I would be looking like, whoa, there she goes. Well, there she goes. Okay, I'm coming, people. Just to give me a minute. And so, oh my gosh. But what happens is I allowed myself through through old skills learned. So let's put it this way. you keep learning to swing the bat. So I'm a sports girl. So if you just keep swinging the bat, swinging the bat, swinging the bat, eventually you're going to get better and it becomes easier. But then if you put that bat down and a week goes by or 2 weeks go by and a month goes by, picking up that bat and swinging that bat again is very heavy and very hard, and your muscles hurt again and fear sets in again. So one thing that I've learned is even if I do a little bit, I don't really necessarily stop. Or if I do, it's for a shorter amount of time. And my re-entry I have planned. So and some of you guys go, oh my gosh, she never stops. I've learned to implement when I'm going to stop. So let's say I'm going to go on vacation for 2 weeks. I know then to have something scheduled for as soon as I get back, or 2 or 3 weeks scheduled, because if it's scheduled, I can look forward to it. I can start planning and then I can do it. But if I get back and I don't have something scheduled, the fear will set in, and picking up that bat gets heavier and heavier, picking up the phone or doing whatever we need to do, and more time will go on. So what you do is you learn these great life skills, these amazing life skills that will carry you through everything. But the thing that makes you strong, the growth, the example that is best to give is like boxing in a ring. Who gets stronger? Using your muscles. The fighter. Who gets stronger? The person who fights longer through it. You get stronger. You don't get strong when you're not using any skills, whatever they are. You only get weak. And so the skills that I want to develop were life skills. And those are being around people, and those are making an influence in my community, and those are having a voice for those that do not have a voice. Like Robin said, I desire to be a strong voice for them. Well, if I don't step out to have a voice, then I could never have it for someone else either. And so those are the things that I keep in front of me. Tammy, have a strong voice, because the stronger your voice is, you can help advocate for someone else. And so I remind myself, even when I do things, this is for my husband, or this is for my kids. And why is it? Maybe it's worth it. It's worth it. And as soon as you have that worth it reason, that dream reason, that heart tug reason, then you will do it. And then we have choices on some things. Always attending stuff is not a choice. That is, as a leader, you go because I am required and desired to be the best leader I can. And so Carmen and I suck it up. We get on that plane and we go do what we do. But one of the luxuries we have in Mary Kay is we've earned trips around the world. And I don't take all of them. I take 5% of them. And they say, why do you not want to go? I'm like, no, thank you. Because I don't necessarily have to go travel. I know you guys are freaking out. Like, I have not gone to China and to Rome and to the Canary Islands and to Paris and whatever by choice. Is that, I know, just slap me silly. I'm crazy that way. But I will go anywhere in the world to make myself better for you or for my family. But if it's an option, then I'd rather vacation in my backyard with Carmen and be as happy as a lark.
I love that. And I think that is something people just assume, like everyone wants to go on trips around the world. Now, Tracey and I are the opposite. So T isn't here because we're like, woo, where are we going? How we get there? Let's go now. Let's travel. So you do have all the spectrums. And I love that we got just Carmen and Tammy with such a similar personality in some of those things. But one of the things I wanted to just I heard, and I actually wrote down, one of the things I think Tammy is in the top 0.0001% of Mary Kay, you guys. So, and honestly, not just Mary Kay, in the business world, she's in the top 1%. You don't get to where she is without going through some things and working through that. And I love that she says it doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. It doesn't matter every day. And I know, Tammy as a person, yes, she's an introvert. She does not want to be around a lot of people, but she is the kindest, most generous human when she's with people and uses her gifts and talents to serve others. So, and one thing that I feel like I have learned from both of you and Tracey is to advocate for yourself, to speak up for what you want, what your life can look like, but you have to choose to do the work in that. And then also when you're advocating for yourself, this is something that one of the reasons I wanted to be a leader in Mary Kay is I knew that I cannot give my son any of the skills or any of the belief if I don't have it myself. If I don't believe in myself, if I don't pick up that bat every day and I don't practice, if I don't advocate my voice, he's never going to learn to have that voice. So if you're not doing it for yourself, do you have kids? Do you want to leave a legacy? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind you? Like I look at yesterday would have been Mary Kay's 102nd birthday. How many of you want people celebrating your birthday once you've gone and sharing what your life has impacted for them? I saw thousands of people post, what an amazing woman just changed my life because the day she was born, all of us had a new gift. Like, isn't that the kind of legacy we want for our families, our communities? So these women, I just want you guys to know it's not just about them. They are making an imprint on others, but they first are showing up for themselves and then showing up for their people. And that is huge. I feel like this was like so good. And I love that it was so authentic and not scripted because it just, you guys yourselves are amazing. So a couple of things I do want to say before we get off is I want to share a little bit about maybe why you chose to do Mary Kay. I'm going to share a couple things right now why Mary Kay right now is a thing for the woman of 2020, even the quarantined woman of 2020. And first and foremost is, do you want to talk about stability? Right now, we are in the most unstable time. But all of us in Mary Kay, and I'm proud to say this, we have a stability. We have an ability to make an income. I have women on my team who lost their jobs but are able to pay their bills because they have an income through Mary Kay. They have the option to sell a product that they make 50% off of. And guess what? People are still using skincare. I saw this article that Carmen shared that people said, if I'm going to cocoon, I'm going to come out a butterfly. Self-care is the number one thing people are doing right now. It's what we have. And so I think that's so important. And where other companies are laying off or telling people to furlough or taking, all these things, Mary Kay saying, hey, come join us at the smallest amount we've ever allowed people to join. Normally, to start a Mary Kay business, it's only $100, which to me is the best $100 you could spend in your entire life, no matter what else you could spend $100 on. You get all the products, all the materials, all the things you need, plus you get a mentor that's going to guide you and lead you. But right now, Mary Kay said, hey, we want to support the woman in 2020 that's in quarantine, that's in shelter mode. So we're going to let you start a business for $30. 30. We spend more than that at the dollar store, you guys. That's insane. Like, that blows my mind. And you get a free website for a year and merchant services for a year. I don't even understand how they do it, but I'm not asking questions because they're just giving it. They love you. They love us. Like, that is crazy. Does that blow your mind, you guys? You've been in for so long.
Mm-hmm. It's just crazy.
It is.
I talk about a pivot, talk about a company that recognize, like, wait a second, what's going on? What are people needing? What are people doing? What can we implement now that can last? And not only last, we'll take on a whole new opportunity even into the future. It gives us both ends to run our business. And for them to look outside and have that view and that panoramic view is just amazing and brilliant. The number one thing that happens when something like this happens, you guys, is people go back to school. So usually what happens is admission to go back to college or to get maybe a real estate license or go, I need to reinvent myself because I had no idea this was coming, but this is crazy and I need a backup plan. That's what happens. So what you do is you enter in for $30. You are just getting a master's degree in a business world, in an entrepreneurship business world. And entrepreneurship is now a degree. And instantaneously you start a business and start a college course and make income at the same time. Because every skill that we're going to do and learn in this transfers into everything that you're going to do. Even if it was like, I'm going to do this for 1 year so that I can maximize every gift and talent that I can use, because you're going to learn marketing, you're going to use communication skills, you're going to even learn like this, right? Where we know how to get online, we know how to connect and how to bring people together. And people are going to have to learn this quickly, because in 90 days, our world just flipped in 90 days. So what do you need to learn in 90 days to make a difference? If you go to college, awesome, but it's not going to be a 90-day turnaround. And so it is phenomenal to me what was handed to us on a silver platter for $30. Phenomenal.
Absolutely. Tammy, thank you for that analogy because that's so true. I hear so many people saying, well, now I need a backup plan. Well, Mary Kay, my pink parachute, that's what it started out to be. If I need something, there it is. So thank you for sharing that. Carmen, anything else that you wanted to share about that too?
Well, I just love the fact that Mary Kay, our skincare and all that is considered essential. And what they recently did for all the frontliners and I mean, share that, Robin, because to me, that is like our company really, we have a saying, it's more than little pink jars and the pink cars. It's a company with a heart. And truly it is. And especially now, what they're doing is unbelievable. Just the fact that we are completely debt free. We've been around, I mean, and it keeps getting better and better. I believe God's hand is on this company.
Absolutely.
And I really do. I believe it. I've always felt that way. But I want you to share, Robin, about what's we done with the first responders.
So Mary Kay was approached. I just want to give you guys, this is like huge to me. I really just want to tell you guys, I'm obsessed with Mary Kay because if you knew everything I knew about our company and what they do, you'd be begging to join us. I promise you.
Begging us.
Honestly. So what they did was they were asked by the government, because we are one of the only companies with a research and development facility left in the United States. We really are. There's not a lot of research and development that happens here anymore because it's too expensive. But Mary Kay is right here in the good old USA, supporting jobs and families here. So what they asked us to do is, can you produce this hand sanitizer? Because the world was running out of hand sanitizer. And Mary Kay was smart enough to say there's only one ingredient we don't have. Well, they got that one ingredient and they shut down our system to just produce. On April 1st, they started production of these hand sanitizers. And by April 3rd, they had produced them across all of Texas. And now they've even spread further. I don't know if you guys heard, but one of my unit members asked to get some in Sierra Vista. They delivered to Sierra Vista hand sanitizers to the front lines there. They have dispersed them all over the country. Something we also just did, I don't know if you guys saw this, but on Jimmy Kimmel, Mary Kay gave $10,000 to 2 New York nurses and donated hand sanitizers and skincare to the whole nurses ward in that hospital in New York City. You guys, Mary Kay is the best of the best. They are not only the company that shows up for their sales force, but they show up for their country and for their community. And honestly, I've seen people receive these hand sanitizer, and Mary Kay made a joke. It may not be our prettiest product, but it's definitely making a difference. And that's what you get. You get real, raw, a company who puts it out there. And you guys, that no one else could have done it. Only we could have. And they did. Without a question, they stepped up and thousands of hand sanitizers went out. Thousands, you guys. I think the number is like 7,900 or more. Like, it was insane.
Oh, no, it was more. Yeah, it was more. And donated. There was no money made.
Absolutely. All on our dime.
And the 10,000, Robin, excuse me, I'm sorry, the 10,000 was given to a mom and 10,000 to her daughter, both nurses in New York.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Like, it just gives me chills. And I don't understand why first of all, every single person needs to buy Mary Kay products, because look at what a difference that company makes. And second of all, if you are looking for more, if you're looking for that pink parachute, this is the place. So I want to ask you guys, if you'll just leave a comment and tell us what impressed you the most. What did you hear today that was like, whoa, that was really like, that's mind-blowing? Because I wrote down a lot of things that I'm impressed with, and I've been in Mary Kay for 8 years. So I know that there are things that you guys heard and saw today, and we want to honor and just lift up these two amazing women who give so much of themselves. And really, they have become leaders, because I will tell you, I've watched them. They have served more people than anyone else. They have gotten to a position where they have created this life for themselves because they have served more people and given more of themselves, because that is what they do. They are the hands and feet of Jesus. And I am so grateful for these are the women I get to call mentors, friends, and that I get to learn from. And guess what? So could you. They are right here in Tucson, Arizona. Now they're all over the world because they're virtual. They may not be comfortable with it. They figured it out. Both of them are figuring it out.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be on here with you guys. And then my last question is, after everything that you guys heard today, what is your thought process? What are you thinking? And I love to do this on a scale of 1 to 5, so we really know what your thoughts are. And it's not a you have to join us, you have to, but I always joke, a lot of our offspring, Carmen and I always say that on a scale of 1 to 5, we were a 1. Like, would you rather eat a green fuzzy worm? Until we really learned about the company. And now you guys have learned all about that. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being, you know what, Robin? No, I would rather eat a green fuzzy worm than ever do Mary Kay. Like, that is not a thing I would ever want to do, even after everything I heard. And a 5 being, you know what? $30 to start a business that women have made over $2 million, 18 free cars. Like, what in the world is that? What? Of course I'm going to sign up. 5, like, duh. I'm an educated woman. 5, I'm in. So on a scale of 1 to 5, just comment your number for us so we know your consultant. This is how she's going to be counted as getting points for you being here today. So that's how we know that you were on the whole time. And then we want you to text that to your consultant so she knows you were here with us today. And I just want to share that a couple people wrote that something that impressed them was the amount of support and love for this of the company and for the company. So can we give a big, can I see all the hearts? Thank you, love, for Tammy, for Carmen, and in spirit with us, of course, the Tracey Chavez. We know we missed her. We will do this again and we will bring them all together because TNT, they are dynamite. It's kind of cheesy, but it's true. I really appreciate it. And I just want to thank you guys. Look, you're getting all the hearts. So many hearts. I see them. Woo! So thank you guys again. I hope you have a blessed Wednesday. And thank you all that joined us tonight.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.